Hey, food lovers. We're off to Duncan tonight to celebrate my birthday. We're going to head to Craig Street Brew Pub, and I'll get back to you later with the results. Hi, food lovers. I'm David Peters, and I'm the host of the Epicure Table. It's a place where food lovers can get an honest review of Vancouver Island restaurants and good food in general.
I'm David Peters. Pull up a chair at Epicure Table. The taste is right here. Real food, real places, stories to share.
Hey folks, thanks for joining me for another honest food review. Today I'm bringing to you one of my favorite spots on Vancouver Island, Craig Street Brew Pub in Duncan. It's a place I've loved for years, so when my birthday rolled around I thought, hey, why not celebrate it with a beef dip and share the experience with you. So we arrived at Craig Street around 5:50 p.m. and snagged a cozy table by the fireplace. The server was quick with menus and our drink orders, and the atmosphere felt warm and inviting. Everything pointed toward an awesome evening. So things got interesting. Fast forward about 30 minutes, and we're still waiting for our food. Now, they weren't particularly busy, so my curiosity kicked in, and having worked in kitchens for over 3 decades and having cooked in this very brew pub about 6 years ago, I wanted to know who was behind the line that night. Some cooks have that magic touch. Others, well, let's just say our meal might hinge on who's slicing and stirring. So I asked our server who was in the kitchen. She smiled very politely and refused to tell me. Seriously? I wasn't asking for state secrets or personal phone numbers. I just wanted to know which chefs were working. In my opinion, if Gordon Ramsay, Michael Smith, or even Bobby Flay were running the pans, the restaurant would shout it from the rooftops. So why the secrecy? Are we not allowed to appreciate the talent behind our food? So here's where I'd love your input. Should establishments promote their cooks or hide them? If you think they should tell you, drop a comment explaining why it matters to you. If you prefer anonymity, let me know that too. I'm genuinely curious to start a conversation about this. My interest isn't just idle curiosity. I spent over 30 years cooking in various restaurants, including this one. Back then, the crew was a mix of seasoned pros and eager newcomers. Some had an knack for perfectly seared beef, while others excelled at sauces. When you dine at a brew pub, you're trusting that team with your food. Knowing who's cooking can set expectations and foster a connection. It acknowledges that there are human beings behind your plate, not faceless robots. On the flip side, I get it. Restaurants worry about staff turnover and reputations. They might fear that naming cooks can lead to personal criticism or unrealistic expectations. But as diners become more interested in provenance and craft, why not celebrate the people who labor over our meals? Transparency builds trust, and trust builds loyalty. Eventually we ordered. For me, it had to be the legendary beef dip. A prime rib, now sirloin, shaved beef piled high on a bun with porter-infused oishi. Now, back in the day, this was the best beef dip I'd ever had. There's no frills, no Philly cheesesteak pretense. Anna, she went for the 100 pork, a panko-breaded pork cutlet, topped with a rich mushroom and Dijon red wine gravy, served with mashed potatoes and seasonal veggies. I wanted to see if the beef dip still held up. Because of rising food costs, the pub had switched from prime rib to sirloin. Some places even downgrade further to bottom round or bottom flat, which can still be tasty if trimmed and cooked properly. But you do notice the difference. When you've been cooking as long as I have, you can't help but scrutinize every detail. First impressions? Relief. The server who had initially been guarded warmed up once we chatted, and service became friendly and attentive. And the food? Craig Street beef dip remains a thing of beauty. Even with sirloin, the meat was thinly shaved, piled generously on the bun. The au jus, made from a house meat stock, simmered with mirepoix and her own Mount Provost porter. It was even better than I remember. The porter lends of cocoa and a roasted malt note sat deep in the broth without bitterness. It's the kind of dip you'd happily drink on its own. Anna's 100 pork, it looked and tasted amazing. The panko crust provided crunch without greasiness, and the mushroom Dijon gravy, it brought a savory depth and a touch of wine situ. Paired with creamy mashed potatoes and fresh seasonal vegetables, it's comfort food executed with finesse. So if you haven't tried Craig Street beef dip, I strongly encourage you to do so. It's rare to find a bear and a beef sandwich where both the meat and the broth are treated with such care. Now, one of the things I appreciate about this brew pub is that, despite the hiccup at the start, our evening turned out to be genuinely pleasant. Talking with our server about old staff broke the ice and reminded me that hospitality is about people. Yes, we waited longer than expected. Yes, there was some secrecy about who was cooking, but once food and conversation started flowing, it felt like coming home. That said, I still maintain that diners deserve to know the talent behind their meals. It's not about idolizing celebrity chefs. It's about transparency and respect for the craft. When you highlight the cooks, you elevate the entire dining experience and give credit where it's due. If restaurants expect us to be loyal customers, shouldn't they be proud to show us who's wielding the knives? Well, we couldn't resist finishing the evening with dessert. Craig Street offers a dessert affectionately called a raspberry sex in a pan. And let me tell you, it's as indulgent as it sounds. Unlike many places that bring in frozen cakes from distributors, this dessert is baked in-house. Okay, I know you waited a long time. Now for the verdict. I give Craig Street Brew Pub a solid 5 out of 5. We began the night by debating kitchen transparency, but ended up enjoying excellent food and warm service. It reminded me why this place remains one of my favorites. If you found value in this review, please give the video a like and consider subscribing. More importantly, join the conversation. Do you think restaurants should tell you who's cooking? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one. And if you're hungry for recipes, tips, more culinary adventures, check out my site, Vancouver Island Epicure. I'll link it in this description. Until next time, eat well, stay curious, and celebrate the people behind your plate.